Have you ever really stopped to think about the journey your food takes? It's something we all kind of take for granted. But behind every single fresh berry you eat in the middle of winter or a crisp apple from halfway around the world, there's this massive, invisible network. This is the story of the cold chain, an incredible story of tech breakthroughs that beat distance and decay, and in the process, created trillions in economic value. So let's dive in and see how this whole thing works. It really all boils down to this one simple question, doesn't it? And the answer? Well, it isn't magic. It's a 100-year-long story of pure engineering genius. It's a perfectly controlled, completely unbroken chain of cold that stretches from a farm thousands of miles away all the way to your kitchen. You know, before refrigeration, the world was a much, much smaller place. Food was local, food was seasonal, and everything was just a frantic race against time. The big enemy was decay, and for centuries, decay always won. The very first attempts to fight back were actually brilliantly simple. Back in the 1840s, people just started packing rail cars with these huge blocks of ice. But of course, it was messy. The melting water often ended up ruining the very goods it was supposed to be preserving. Still, the idea caught on. You had these entrepreneurs they called ice kings who built entire empires harvesting ice from frozen lakes and shipping it around the world. But the real game changer on land came in the 1870s with redesigned railcars that didn't just hold ice, they actually circulated the cold air. And just like that, the entire American meat industry was transformed. Okay, so ice is great, but no matter how smart you are about packing it, it's got one huge, fatal flaw. It melts. For those long sea voyages across the tropics, you needed a totally new, self-sustaining solution. The answer? Mechanical refrigeration. And check this out. This is the ship that proved it could be done. In 1876, a vessel called Le Frigorifique, which literally means the refrigerator, was fitted with a mechanical cooling unit. It sailed from Argentina all the way to France, a journey of 105 days, and its cargo of meat arrived in perfect condition. The world's oceans had just been conquered by cold. And boy, did the money follow quickly. This really shows you the immediate economic impact. Just a few years later, in 1882, the ship Dunedin sailed from New Zealand to London. After all the costs were paid, that single trip turned a profit of £4,700. That was an absolute fortune back then, and it basically launched the entire export economy of New Zealand, turning a remote island nation into a global food powerhouse, seemingly overnight. So we had refrigerated ships, and we had refrigerated trains. We had the long haul covered, but there was a critical missing link. What about the journey from the port or the rail yard to the store? That was still a danger zone, a place where the cold chain broke. This was the famous last mile problem. And the person who finally solved it was a self-taught mechanical genius named Frederick McKinley Jones. I mean, this guy was a prolific inventor. But his work in mastering mobile refrigeration is what truly earned him the amazing title, the King of Cool. You gotta love it. So what made his inventions such a breakthrough? Well, before Jones, any mobile units were super bulky, unreliable, and they just couldn't handle the bumps and vibrations of the road. His invention, patented in 1940, was a total game changer. First, it was compact. Second, it had its own engine for power. And third, and this was the most important part, he built it to be shockproof. This wasn't just some small improvement. It was the birth of an entirely new industry, leading to the company we now know as Thermo King. And this technology was immediately put to the ultimate test during World War II. The U.S. military relied completely on Jones's portable units to transport blood plasma, critical medicine, and food to the front lines. They used them to cool field hospitals and even bomber cockpits. His invention didn't just change commerce, it saved countless lives. So Jones had solved the last mile problem, but the next leap forward would combine his mobile cooling tech with another revolution that was happening: the standardized shipping container. And this combination, well, it created the unstoppable force that is our modern globalized food system. The technological jump here is just staggering. I mean, think about it. Those early ships like Le Frigorifique had one big, clunky cooling unit for an entire cargo hold. It was impossible to get precise, even cooling. But today's Reefer container, it's a completely autonomous, high-tech ecosystem. Each one is a self-contained unit that can create a perfect custom microclimate inside. And here's the secret sauce to its success. Modern reefers use this brilliant system called bottom air delivery. The refrigeration unit pushes cold air down and into these special channels built right into this T-bar floor. From there, that cold air flows perfectly and uniformly up through the entire stack of cargo, wrapping everything in this consistent blanket of cold. No hot spots, no spoilage. It's so simple, and it is absolute genius. And what does all this incredible technology actually enable? Well, numbers like this: 670,000 metric tons of cherries. That's the volume Chile is expected to ship this season alone. It's a massive economic engine, timed perfectly for the Chinese New Year, and it's all made possible by huge fleets of these refrigerated containers. It's the exact same story for the New Zealand kiwi. You've got an entire national industry generating billions of dollars built entirely on the back of the Reefer container. It lets them ship their fruit with pinpoint precision, making sure a kiwi that was picked in the Bay of Plenty arrives perfectly on a shelf in Tokyo weeks later. So the cold chain has conquered distance and decay, but now it's facing two new, really tough challenges: sustainability and a growing demand for absolute transparency. The first major challenge is all about the environment. For a long time, the industry has relied on refrigerants called HFCs. Now, they're really effective, but they are also super potent greenhouse gases. The Kigali Amendment is a global pact to phase them out, which is forcing the entire industry to get innovative all over again. And this table really lays out the dilemma the industry is facing. The old HFCs have a massive global warming potential. We're talking over 1,400 times that of carbon dioxide. The alternative is using natural refrigerants, like CO2 itself, which has a warming potential of just 1. So what's the catch? Well, using CO2 as a refrigerant requires totally new, much more expensive high-pressure systems. It's a classic economic and engineering challenge. How do you go green without breaking the bank? Now, the second challenge is transparency, and the solution here is all digital. The modern reefer is basically becoming a node on the Internet of Things. You've got IoT sensors monitoring every little variable in real time. An operator can spot a problem from thousands of miles away and even adjust the container's settings remotely. Then you add blockchain to the mix, and you get a tamper-proof, unchangeable record of the cargo's entire journey. So when you step back and look at the whole story, in just over a century, we've gone from a simple block of melting ice to a globally connected, data-driven, self-monitoring asset. It's just an incredible technological journey. And here's the ultimate takeaway: why this all really matters. This new level of transparency isn't just some tech gimmick. For an insurance company, having an unchangeable temperature log drastically reduces their risk. And for you, the consumer, it's the ultimate guarantee of quality and safety. It completely transforms the cold chain from a black box into a transparent pipeline you can trust. We've come to depend on this invisible system for pretty much everything. The food on our tables, the medicines in our hospitals. It's a true marvel of engineering that has made our world more connected and abundant than ever before. But it also makes you think, what happens to our highly optimized world when a single link in that chain, for whatever reason, breaks?